NFL Week 3 is already here. And can you guys believe how fast the NFL season gets rolling once we get moving here? It just goes way too quick. So we have to take advantage of every single opportunity that we get to make some money on these games. In this video, I'll be going through the Thursday night football game between the Bills and the Dolphins. Thursday night, it's always a rough game. It's usually a snooze fest for most of us. The spread on this is 12 points. So the Bills are expected to blow out the Dolphins. But in the NFL, anything can happen. And you never know. The Dolphins could keep it close. I doubt they come away with an upset, but they may cover the spread or something. But just a little insight, though, I am on Bills minus 12. I will share that with you guys. I don't usually talk about my spreads in these videos, mostly player props focused, but I am on that bet, and I figured I'd share it with you guys too. Before I get into the player props, though, a few reminders. Join the free Discord server. The link is in the description below. Discord's completely free. I run a community touchdown parlay every single week too. So if you go into the community slip section of the Discord, drop your favorite touchdown pick for the week, and I'll put that in a giant slip. And if we win, I give away the cash to everybody. And then also subscribe to the channel with notifications on. I'm doing my best to provide this content for you guys. The least you can do is subscribe. And then last, but definitely not least, I'm using a website called Outlier.bet. This is not a free website. It is a paid subscription website. But if you want a 7-day free trial with them, that link is also located in the description below. Let's get right into the plays. So the first bet I'm on is James Cook over 66.5 rushing yards. James Cook averages 79 rushing yards per game when the Bills win by 6 or more points. Now that's going back to last season. There have been 12 games where the Bills have won by 6 or more. Cook averages 79 rushing yards in those games. They're favored by 12 points this week. Do the math, they're probably going to win by 6. At least it's very likely that they'll win by 6 or more. He had 132 yards last week against the New York Jets, absolutely gashed them in a blowout where they won by 20, so they won by 6 or more. He had a bunch of yards. And the Miami Dolphins, their run defense, actually their defense as a whole, has been awful this year. They're giving up 101.5 rushing yards per game to running backs this season so far. That's ranked 23rd in the league, which is bottom third in the league. I think the Bills blow them out. Bills blow them out, which means James Cook gets over his rushing yards prop. The next play is Dalton Kincaid over 29.5 receiving yards. Now, this one's a little bit more dicey as compared to the Cook, because obviously, if the Bills do get out to a massive lead early, they'll probably abandon the passing game a bit and run the ball a bit more. But Miami allowed 76 yards to Tyler Warren and 38 yards to Austin Hooper last week. Last season, Dalton Kincaid averaged 4 catches for 32.5 yards against the Dolphins, going over this number in both games. And this Miami defense is just all in all bad, like I mentioned before. I just think this is going to be a team that we're going to target against all year on the receiving yards, on the rushing props, on the fantasy points, on basically any offensive prop, especially in their current state right now. They are just an absolute shambles. So Dalton Kincaid over 29.5, a little more risky than the James Cook play, but I'll be betting both of them. And then third play, we're going to head over to the Dolphins side on this one. We're going with Devon Achane over on the fantasy score. Now, if you don't use Underdog Fantasy and you want to sign up for an account, sign up using code LayTheHouseRM, and they'll give you the deposit match bonus up to $1,000. I think it's a 50% match. But I also think if you bet $5 on the app, they'll give you a free $50 bonus bet too on top of it, or they'll add $50 in funds into your account. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but really good promo to take advantage of if you don't use Underdog Fantasy, and it's personally my favorite app to use. So we're going with Devon Achane over 14.95 fantasy score on Underdog Fantasy. On PrizePicks, it's over 18 because they are a full PPR, whereas Underdog Fantasy only get half a point per reception. But I personally think Achane is the new Christian McCaffrey right now. His usage is replicating levels that McCaffrey had a couple years ago in his monster season for the 49ers after he was traded from the Panthers. And the path to beating the Bills or even staying competitive with them is by gashing them on the ground and really involving your running back. So last season, the Bills allowed the second most receptions per game. Was it receptions per game? Yeah, second most receptions per game and the most receiving yards per game to running backs last season. Achane, super involved in the passing games. You see, he had 92 receiving yards against the Patriots last week, only 20 against the Colts the week before, but that game was really bad. And, this game could end up like that too, but if he gets a touchdown later on, it might save his day a bit with the fantasy score. 4 targets in the first game, 10 targets last game. If the Dolphins are down, It's a trailing game script, a lot of dump off passes for Achan. So really good spot for him to go over on his fantasy points. I personally think fantasy points is the way to go because then you get access to all the avenues, rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions, and touchdowns, which is something that HN really takes advantage of. So those are my three plays for today. Quick recap: Devon HN over on the fantasy score on Underdog Fantasy. Dalton Kincaid over 29.5 receiving yards, and James Cook over 66.5 rushing yards. I look forward to seeing you guys in the Discord later on, and best of luck on your bets for Thursday Night Football.